What's up, people? This is the War Report checking in for October 6th. The season has changed, the weather's getting cooler, and we are officially in the fourth quarter. So, as always, let's touch on what happened last week. Of course, the most important news of last week, the government shutdown. As most of you know, the federal government shut down on Wednesday morning, October 1st at 12:01 a.m. after the Senate failed to pass legislation to fund the government for the new fiscal year, which started October 1st. An estimated 800,000 federal employees were placed on furlough. Hundreds of thousands of employees were mandated to continue working without pay. That's unfortunate. Officials have been told to prepare for the possibility of mass layoffs if the shutdown proceeds further. So how did we get here? How did all of this start? Both sides, Republicans and Democrats, are pointing fingers at each other. Some are saying Republicans have the White House and the majority in the House and the Senate, so they are to blame. However, it's not that simple, so let me break it down. The funding bill passed the House of Representatives by a simple majority of 217 to 212. So, in a case like this in the House of Representatives, all you need is the majority to vote for a funding bill for it to pass. So simply clean forward, just a majority. However, in the Senate, that's a little bit different. In the Senate, we have 52 Republicans and 48 Democrats, right? So there's a majority of Republicans. To pass this funding bill in the Senate, you need a supermajority, which means you need 60 votes, which means you will need some Democrats to get on board. Democrats are holding out because they want an additional $1.5 trillion in spending for illegal immigrants, Obamacare subsidies, and other programs like DEI and climate change, which were completely wiped out in Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. Democrats basically want an amendment to the Big Beautiful Bill, which was passed this summer. This is not going to happen for Democrats, so there is a standstill. Now there have been 3 Democrats who have dissented and decided to vote with the Republicans. Pay attention to this. This shows a little bit of a weakening with the Democrat stronghold for this shutdown. This brings the yes votes to 55, which is still 5 short of the needed 60 votes. The Democrats are using this as leverage to get that $1.5 trillion in additional funding. However, I don't think this will work. Why? The current administration, the Trump administration, will love nothing more than to not only furlough these federal workers, but lay off, fire as many of them as possible. So the shutdown is actually playing into President Trump's hands. We don't know what the end result will be. I would expect there to be some compromise soon, some serious compromise soon, but make no mistake about it, the White House has the upper hand. Now, how has the market behaved since the shutdown? All-time highs. The market is not paying any mind to any of this shutdown stuff. During the last government shutdown, which lasted 35 days in 2018, the Dow was up 10%. This DC drama has been a non-event for markets. What does that tell you? It tells you markets think that this is not that important right now and just political posturing between the two sides. Think about this. You have massive AI strategic alliance deals being announced every other day. That's what markets care about right now. AI spending. That's what it's all about. Or maybe markets think a smaller government would be better and they're completely cool with everything that's going on right now. Either way, financial markets are just chugging along like no big deal. Now, at the same time, even though they're chugging along like no big deal, there's one key piece from all of this. Certain economic data will not be released. This past Friday, we were expecting a Bureau of Labor Statistics job report, but due to the shutdown, we were unable to receive that. Now, in my opinion, the numbers would probably have been wrong and we would have needed to, have big revisions in November. But even if that is the case, the main question to ask is, if this is a prolonged shutdown, how will not receiving your CPI, PPI, and PCE economic numbers affect the Federal Reserve's decision-making when setting monetary policy? That's the most important thing. As we go deeper into this shutdown, uncertainty will take form, and at that time is when you are more likely to see the markets react. Right now, it's too early to tell, so we're just going to have to stay tuned. So moving on to this week, guess what? Earnings season is back. Can you believe it? It seems like July's earnings season was just a couple of weeks ago, but no, it's that time of the year. It's the most important time of the year. So on Thursday, we received Q3 earnings from Pepsi and Delta Airlines and also clothing company Levi's. So as of 4 a.m., stock futures across all major averages are in the green, with the Dow up 48 points at a tenth of a percent, Nasdaq up 93 points at a third of a percent, and the S&P 500 is up 15 points, roughly a quarter of a percent right now. Gore Report signing off. Have a productive work week. Talk to you next week.